What is up? It is Maximus MMA bringing you my complete card breakdown, picks, predictions for UFC Freedom 250. We have Ilia Topuria defending the lightweight strap against Justin Gaethje here with a great card all around. So much hype on this card, obviously fighting on the White House lawn. Look, to put it in perspective, okay? My grandfather is 80 years old. He didn't even know what MMA was. And even he's hyped for this card because they've been blasting it all over Fox News. It's nice that the UFC is actually promoting an event for once. It's got all of us super excited. We're in for a real treat. The only thing is, I do think they should have moved the card up maybe a few hours just so the old heads could watch and not fall asleep before the co-main and main event. But hey, we'll be watching, right? So anybody watching this video, I'm sure is going to watch from start to finish. So let's just get straight into it here. We'll start with the main event. Ilia Topuria taking on Justin Gaethje here, again, for the lightweight title. Ilia Topuria is a huge favorite, right? Last time I saw, he was minus 520. It's about an 84% implied win probability. Justin Gaethje at plus 370, at 16%. Look, everybody's picking Topuria, right? And it's for good reason. I mean, when you knock out Alexander Volkanovski the way that he did at UFC 300, then you knock out Max Holloway, then you knock out Charles Oliveira. I mean, it's going to be very hard to beat this guy. And the thing about Topuria is he says what he's going to do, and he does it, right? And that's something that all MMA fans can appreciate. Justin Gaethje coming off that win against Paddy Pimblett, where he was a big underdog to kick off the Paramount era. But you know, a performance that in hindsight, right, like, it kind of made a little bit of sense. I mean, Paddy came in, and he was a little bit reckless. You know, Scousers don't get knocked out. Scousers don't get knocked out, right? And he didn't get knocked out, but he got dropped multiple times. Chin was too high up in the air, and Justin Gaethje made him pay on multiple occasions. Ilia Topuria is not that. I mean, obviously, he is the KO monster at lightweight and below, right? And I don't think that you could put anybody above him as far as KO ability. The thing that Topuria does such a good job at, which makes him world class, is that he is probably the best in all of MMA right now at cutting off the cage. You saw that against Alexander Volkanovski, which I actually picked Topuria to beat him at UFC 300 because I thought, you know, Alexander Volkanovski, right, is a master on being on the outside, throwing leg kicks, keeping distance, right? He did it against Diego Lopes twice, against countless guys, right? They just can't get to him. He's hard to touch. But I just knew that Topuria eventually is going to get your feet behind that black line. And what he does such a good job of is when you're in that danger zone, he doesn't wait. He explodes with the right hook, left hook, and every shot he throws against the cage is to get you out of there, right? I mean, look at the KO against Holloway, similar. Not as trapped, but again, Holloway circling away. Right hook, right? I believe it was a right hook. Might have been a left hook. Nonetheless, it was a hook. And then Oliveira, right, obviously knocked him out in an exchange in the center of the octagon. So doesn't even really need the cage to get you out. But this is going to be really if Justin Gaethje is willing to go through the fire. Because there is this, like, idea that Justin Gaethje has knockout power, but we haven't really seen it, at least in recent years, right? I mean, obviously, he showed some against Paddy, but couldn't knock him out. Granted, Paddy's a Scouser, so don't get knocked out. But I don't know, dude. I just think that Gaethje needs to take it to Topuria, which might be a death sentence. I just don't see him being able to win a fight that is just, you know, if Topuria is going to control how the fight is going to play out, essentially. I think that Gaethje has to take matters into his own hands, and that would be, you know, really just flipping a coin. And even then, Topuria is going to have a big advantage there in the pocket. Topuria has a smaller frame, right? I mean, they've got these guys, right? 4-inch height advantage for Justin Gaethje. He looked a lot bigger at the face-offs, but I don't know, man. Topuria, I just think, is too good right now, and I'm going to pick him to win by knockout, likely in the first 2 rounds. If this fight does go long, it could get really interesting, but I'm thinking Topuria is going to deliver. Gaethje's just too hittable. The Homer Simpson of MMA. Give me Topuria by knockout in the first 2. Then we've got a super exciting matchup with Alex Pereira and Ciryl Gane. Alex Pereira, obviously, champion at middleweight, champion at light heavyweight, just reclaimed the belt in an impressive performance, a revenge performance against Ankalaev, taking on Ciryl Gane here for the interim heavyweight title. Ciryl Gane's got the infinite title shot glitch, right? I don't know what dirt this guy has on Dana White. I think we all want to know because it really is one of the greatest mysteries of MMA. But here he is again, and this fight is a pick'em, right? As of right now, I could definitely see, one side maybe creeping to minus 120, minus 130 before the fight, but I am surprised this is a pick'em because to me it's like Alex Pereira's got the star power, right? He's kind of the Thanos, right? There was an interview with Daniel Cormier talking about how his cousin calls Pereira Thanos, and it makes sense. I mean, he just goes in and he wins these big fights. I mean, he just wins. And Gane, who has he really beat? I mean, people forget, man, that Ciryl Gane was like 1 or 2 follow-up punches away from Tai Tuivasa knocking him out and Ciryl Gane never being relevant. Right? Like, people forget that. Ciryl Gane obviously beat Volkov. Did he beat Volkov, though? I mean, now it's probably the biggest robbery of that year. It was certainly in the top 3. Nobody actually thought Ciryl Gane won that fight. And okay, even if you thought he did win that fight, it's one of those fights where, like, come on, dude. Like, did he? Like, what did he do? It wasn't really a fight. Like, there was a lot of weird rolling on the ground. It was just weird, right? And obviously, I think the odds are so even because Pereira is moving up. Obviously started out at middleweight, but you look at the face-off, I mean, these guys are the same size. Now, Ciryl Gane might be a little bit thicker, like width-wise in the chest, because he obviously is, I mean, he is a heavyweight, but I believe Alex Pereira weighed in slightly heavier, so I'm not worried about the size difference here for Pereira at all. And Ciryl Gane has this hype on him because he busted Tom Aspinall's nose in the first minute of their fight. But if you really watch that fight back, see, when that fight happened, they were like, oh, Gane was beating Aspinall. Aspinall wanted a way out. Watch that back. Gane was starting to slow down. Because anybody picking Gane is under the... They're going to assume that, okay, he's going to be too athletic to stay on the outside and kind of pitter-patter his way to a decision, I guess. I mean, a heavyweight? Come on, man. In a 5-round fight, I don't buy that. And Gane was slowing down. Watch that fight. He started to slow down. Aspinall, in my opinion, was well on his way to winning. And then Gane is one of the dirtiest fighters in the UFC. So... Look, if Ciryl Gane eye gouges Alex Pereira, okay, we might have a different fight. But so expect Ciryl Gane to try to do something desperate here, but I don't think it's going to work. I mean, everybody wants Alex to win, right? Who wants the black Muslim French guy, okay, to win this fight? Nobody. I mean, Ciryl Gane has the personality of a rock. Alex Pereira doesn't even speak English, but he gets the people going. Chama, 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 right? Everybody wants that. We all want a chama on Sunday night. I think we're going to get it. This is a fight where I'm likely thinking it will be a KO. It's just about when. I'm going to be supremely confident in Alex after about 2 minutes if he takes the approach he did against Ankalaev in the second fight. I think that if he kind of lets Ciryl Gane do his dancing around for about a round, and then maybe a half round, right? And then Alex Pereira says, all right, let's get on the gas here. Ciryl Gane has proven nothing to me that he's going to be able to keep Alex Pereira off of him. Yes, Pereira's been chinned before, but that was at lighter weight classes. You know, I just think Pereira's going to win this, man. Honestly, the odds to me are shocking. Alex Pereira is going to be the pick of the card. I'm just going to spoil it right now. He is the pick for sure. Because, I mean, again, there's no way I can pick Ciryl Gane here outside of just like, okay, he's big and he looks kind of scary. I mean, like, it's propaganda. We're not buying it. Alex Pereira by knockout. I'm going to say in the second or third round. Then, right before that, the featured bout of the evening, Sean O'Malley versus Aiemann Zahabi. Okay, we've got Sean O'Malley against Ariel Helwani. Aiemann Zahabi. This fight worries me for Sean O'Malley because Sean O'Malley is a huge favorite, minus 480 when I checked. That's 83% implied odds to win. There's a lot of hype on O'Malley to get a KO, right? It's almost like the community is talking about, okay, O'Malley's going to win, but does he get the finish? And you hear O'Malley at the press conference. He's like, I need a finish. And he does. Because O'Malley came in with so much hype, especially after he beat Aljamain Sterling for the belt with that step back knockout. He hasn't had a finish since then. And when you're a guy who is supposed to be this dynamic striker, we want to see finishes. And that's why they're matching him up with Zahabi. Now, keep in mind, Zahabi has more than earned this fight. He's been on a nice streak himself. But Aiemann Zahabi is he's a boxer, and he's going to come forward. And that's where it's going to get interesting to me is that if the rounds and minutes start to go by and O'Malley has not found that kill shot, could Zahabi start to wear on him? Because Zahabi, one thing about him, you have to give him credit, he's not going to quit. I mean, he wants this. This is the biggest fight of his career. Everybody knows it. He says it. It does make me nervous for Sean O'Malley that everybody's assuming he's going to win. However, I'm going to pick Sean, but I don't know how confident. And he might make it look easy, right? I hope he does. I mean, we need Americans to win on this card because Gaethje's probably getting knocked out, right? So America is going to need something, but I don't know, man. It definitely sketches me out. There's going to be a lot of people betting on O'Malley. Tread at your own risk, but he probably should get it done. But the thing with O'Malley is that I couldn't like confidently say he's going to KO Zahabi. Like, it's only going to be 3 rounds. Sean O'Malley's been more than content to win decisions. We saw it against Song Yadong. Song Yadong is a much different kind of striker than Zahabi, but right, Sean O'Malley never really like turned on the gas to get the finish. Like, he was perfectly content with just kind of coasting to a decision where, you know, he's maybe landing 6 strikes for every 4 that Song lands, right? I'm hoping Sean can get the KO, but honestly, I'm going to go with Sean by decision. I think this fight will be closer than people think, and then I think there's probably like a 20% chance that Sean O'Malley actually just sparks him out in the first 2 rounds when Zahabi's just, you know, trudging forward. Zahabi's been dropped in his last couple of fights. I think that's why everybody's so high on O'Malley knockout, and O'Malley does kind of seem due, but I don't know. I'm one of those guys, I got to see it to believe it. I don't really trust in Sean O'Malley's ability to knock out these top guys until he does it again. And we know he can do it. Prove it. Prove it on the White House lawn, Sean. We're all rooting for you. Okay, Schmitty's going to make it massive. Come on. We're all behind you, but leave me impressed, okay? I'm done with the speculation. Then we've got a great heavyweight matchup with Josh Hokit against Derrick Lewis, the KO King. Look, Josh Hokit has burst onto the scene, okay? And he's a huge favorite in this fight. Last time I checked, he was at minus 420. That's about an 81% implied odds to win. Now, there are rumors, I believe in an interview with Chael Sonnen, that he has some sort of hand issue. But I don't think that's going to matter here for Hokit because he has probably some of the fastest hands in the heavyweight division, right? He's a former NFL player. Going against a guy like Derrick Lewis, who is the KO King, right? He is. Nobody can ever take that away from Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis is 42 years old. Derrick Lewis has never looked slower in his life. And the thing that I don't like about Derrick Lewis in this fight is that he is willing to quit. And again, with a lot of these guys, you don't teach old dogs new tricks. When the going gets tough, Derrick Lewis has shown in the last couple years, he's going to swing some overhands, he's going to get lit up, and he's going to say, you know what, I've had enough. And I see that happening here. Obviously, Hokit could definitely implement some wrestling here. I think that's probably the best idea. Take a little bit out of Derrick Lewis, maybe get him up against a cage, but you got to be careful on the break, right, of the clinch. A big Derrick Lewis overhand right will KO Hokit if he lands clean. I mean, it will. And we saw Hokit get rocked against Curtis Blades, who Derrick Lewis viciously knocked out with an uppercut many, many moons ago. That was a different Derrick Lewis. I know Derrick Lewis is going to be motivated, but like when that adrenaline kicks in and you're really in that cage, all that motivation I think is going to leave. I think he's going to return to what he does best. And I'm not trying to disrespect Derrick Lewis because he's had an amazing career, but he's 42 years old, right? I mean, he like we could see some Anthony Lionheart-Smith technique come out of Derrick Lewis here, even though I think it is unlikely. I think on the White House, I think he will put up a little bit more of a fight than fetal position, but I'm going to go Hokit here. Plus Hokit, look, he's been making the pressers funny. All right, like love him or hate him. Look, we need guys that are going to talk and get people going. He's obviously been going at Topuria all week because, you know, Derrick Lewis and Pereira aren't paying him no attention. So, you know, we want Hokit to win, right? I think Hokit's going to get it done by KO in the first round or two. Likely round 1, but it could be round 2 if he takes that safer approach and just get Derrick Lewis in his head like, I'm going to quit. Because, again, I really do see Derrick Lewis kind of quitting. Obviously, to solid shots from Hokit, but Derrick Lewis has just not shown he can go through the fire. And we just saw Hokit go through a literal house fire against Curtis Blades. I mean, in one of the fights of the year, right? Give me Hokit by KO. Then we've got the biggest favorite on the card, Mauricio Ruffy, taking on the All-American Michael Chandler look. I don't know if Ruffy deserves to be a minus 600 favorite. That's like 86% implied odds, okay? The thing is, people are used to seeing Michael Chandler lose. And ever since I saw the way that BSD dominated Mauricio Ruffy, it's going to be hard for me to trust him until I can see him actually fend off a competent grappler. Now, is Michael Chandler a competent grappler? Yes, but he's older. He's lost some explosiveness, but don't get it wrong. I mean, he's still a very explosive, short, stocky guy. It's just, again, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, is Michael Chandler in possibly one of the last fights of his career with the most eyes on him ever going to decide, you know what, guys? I'm done being Michael Chandler, okay? I'm done jumping on my back with Oliveira on it. I'm done, just going out here swinging and banging, right? Reckless abandon, just rolling the dice. And he's going to become a grappler now for 3 rounds and hold Ruffy down, which is possible. But I just also don't think that Chandler has the gas tank to do that. So there are going to be moments of danger that are inevitable on the feet. And with the size advantage here, I mean, they have Ruffy at 5'11" and Chandler at 5'8". I feel like those are a little inflated. I mean, he looks so much taller. Now, I do think there is a chance we could see a Michael Chandler, Dan Hooker kind of finish here if Ruffy gets overconfident, but I think Ruffy's too sharp. I do think he learned from the BSD fight, but I want him to prove it before you'd be willing to, confidently take him at minus 620 in a parlay or something. I mean, that to me is just like, you're nuts, but yeah. I mean, I'll be rooting for Chandler because, again, Ruffy disappointed me so much against BSD. It's just tough, right? Because one of these underdogs is going to win. It's just about who. And I'm so close to taking Michael Chandler, but I can't do it. Prove me wrong, Michael. We're going to be rooting for you. We want to, Conor McGregor, fight me, right? We need that. Michael Chandler can adopt another black kid, right, if he wins. It'd be awesome. Don't think it's going to happen, though. He's got enough kids. So, yeah, Ruffy likely by KO in the first 2 rounds. But, this is a prove-it fight for Ruffy. Obviously, he looked great in his last fight against Rafael Fiziev, but different fight, different matchup. Fiziev is a really technical Muay Thai striker, and Michael Chandler's going to lay it on the line. And let's see if Mauricio Ruffy can snipe him. Then we've got Kyle Daukaus taking on Bo Nickal. Look, Bo Nickal is the face, from the MMA perspective, of USA Wrestling, right? Obviously a national champion at Penn State. And he had a lot of hype coming into the UFC. And he beat Val Woodburn, no disrespect. He's literally a landscaper. Beat Cody Brundage. His best win is, maybe I could be forgetting somebody, but Rodolfo Vieira, who is like that top 30 guy, right? We're like, Rodolfo Vieira is a BJJ guy. He's never going to threaten for the title. So yeah, good win, but how good are you? Well, we found out that Bo Nickal is not a top 5 guy when he faced Rainier DeRitter, who has since been in a free fall, right? Hasn't looked very good. Got beat up by Brendan Allen, bad. It's just, Bo Nickal, I don't like the fact that he quit to the body at all, because Bo Nickal literally quit in that fight. And yes, it was a hard matchup. And those odds at the time were crazy because RDR realistically had proven more in his fighting career. I mean, he's a one championship champion, things of that nature. Bo Nickal is an NCAA wrestler, right? Elite, but wrestling's not fist fighting. Kyle Daukaus is a guy who, I really see this as like the blue chip USA Wrestling golden boy Bo Nickal against the junkyard dog path of Kyle Daukaus. Does Kyle Daukaus look like a junkyard dog? No, he looks like a guy that would work at a bank, right, and help you purchase your first home or something like that. But Kyle Daukaus' route in the UFC, I mean, he had a run in the UFC, got cut from the UFC, went back to the regional scene, got a few wins, and has since come back and beat Gerald Meerschaert, who, old Gerald Meerschaert, right? What does that really mean? Good win, but, not too impressive. Then he beat Michel Pereira, who, I think at that time had already lost, and his aura of, just the wild man going in for the finish was gone. But it's a good win for Kyle Daukaus. Now, I know a lot of people are picking Kyle Daukaus here. I just don't see it, man. Something about this just, to me, thinks Bo Nickal's going to get it done. Now, Bo Nickal is a minus 300 favorite, about 75% chance to win. I do think that's a little inflated. I think this is probably more 60-40 Bo. But I'm going to go with the blue chip prospect here. Even though that Daukaus isn't his prime more, you just have to think with Bo Nickal, like, if he can't get past Daukaus, I mean, why do you even fight anymore? Go back to wrestling, dude. Like, not to be disrespectful, but, like, why would he keep fighting? Bo Nickal has to win this fight. He is the American prospect. Obviously, Daukaus is an American too, but, like, Bo Nickal's a name. All the wrestling dads are going to be super exciting to watch. And, yeah, dude, Bo Nickal's going to win this fight. Honestly, this is one that I could see going to a decision, but if it doesn't, I would take Bo Nickal maybe by, like, maybe sub in the second or third round, but honestly, this screams decision to me. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for that, but I really see this going to decision. Give me Bo Nickal to win. And yeah, I mean, like I say, there's too many people that are picking Daukaus, and I just don't see it. Like, again, the Michelle Pereira he beat was Michelle Pereira that was either going through a divorce at the time or was right after the divorce. So, like, Michelle Pereira just hasn't been the same, right, ever since that. He just hasn't. Good win, but, like, now he's going to beat Bo Nickal? Keep in mind that if this was Bo Nickal that never fought RDR, Bo Nickal would be minus 800 here. I mean, he would, which is disgusting. But, like, let's just be real. That's what it would be. I'm going to pick him to win, but this is a tough one. This is a tough one. 60-40 Bo, but I got Bo to win by decision. And then kicking off the main card, we've got an absolute barn burner. See, this is why the UFC has done such a good job with this card. Obviously, we don't have too many fights on this card, right? I think we have 7 fights. This is the last one we're breaking down. This one will open up the card, as I just mentioned. Look, Diego Lopes is an absolute dog, okay? At the highest level, he's lost to Movsar Evloev, okay, in his debut, I believe. He had a lot of knockouts after that, and then, of course, he lost to Volkanovski 2 times. Now, in between those Volkanovski losses, what did he do? He KO'd Gene Silva on UFC Noche via spinning back elbow, come from behind win as a massive underdog. Gene Silva at that point looked unbeatable. Gene Silva is still one of the top guys in the division. That win is up here for me. It's a huge win. You know you're getting an absolute dog with Diego Lopes, but you are getting a guy with a limited bag of tricks on the feet. I think on the ground he's going to have a big advantage here. Can he get it there? Does he want to get it there? That remains to be seen. We have not seen Diego Lopes really heavily employ grappling in the last couple years. Steve Garcia could be a victim on the ground, but on the feet, man, Steve Garcia is an absolute murderer. I mean, he's got 6 KOs in his last 7 fights, right? Garcia, by the way, is plus 130. Lopes minus 160. Lopes about 61% chance to win here. Who's going to go first? That's going to be what determines this for me. If Steve Garcia can get on him the way that he did at David Onama, which I don't see that because David Onama really looked like a victim out there. I mean, that was one of, like, the craziest fights where you're like, okay, UFC level, right? Like, high-level fight here. David Onama was a victim. I mean, a literal victim to Steve Garcia. I don't think Steve Garcia is going to do Lopes like that. But I do know that Steve Garcia is fired up to fight on the White House. He was a friend of Charlie Kirk. And look, sometimes people weigh the out-of-the-cage stuff. Sometimes they don't. I do. Okay, and to me, dude, I mean, I can just see a post-fight interview at the White House with Steve Garcia talking about Charlie Kirk. And I also heard, now this is a rumor, that Steve Garcia might walk out to We Are Charlie Kirk. Now, if he does that, he's the lock. He's a lock. Like, half memeing, but, like, dude, the aura is going to be insane here. I'm going to pick Steve Garcia. Like I said, some of these underdogs are going to win. I mean, the only real underdog I'm picking is Steve Garcia here. And Pereira might end up flipping to an underdog, you know, come fight night. Because, again, it's pick him right now. So, I just think it's a good coin flip. And, again, Lopes 60-40% makes sense. I mean, Lopes is the more proven guy. But I just like the momentum that Steve Garcia is on. And again, this fight being at the White House, I like that for him. I really do. I think Steve Garcia might get it done. I'm going to go by knockout in the first or second round. This fight, nonetheless, is going to be a barn burner. Everybody knows it. It's going to be super exciting. And yeah, I mean, obviously just an amazing card here at the White House. Beautiful, little poster here. This isn't an official poster, but yeah. I'm going to be watching. Pick of the card, Alex Pereira. You don't got to get too fancy with it. I think it just chime our way to a big win. Usually for the pick, I'm going to be trying to do, plus money, but I think minus 110. Beggars can't be choosers. And to get cute and try to add in a Hokit or an O'Malley or a Topuria or a Nickal or a Ruffy, right? I don't like that, man. I mean, why roll the dice there? Why? In my opinion. Again, somebody might be overconfident. Maybe I helped sway you guys one way or the other. Hopefully I did. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, man, we're in for a great night of fights. Super excited. I mean, you can see it on my face. So, yeah, looking forward to recapping the whole card and more breakdowns and UFC content coming soon. And I'll see you guys in the next one.